After 9 long months of football, this afternoon we'll see the Valley draw the curtain on League One for another season. Look, we've got to be honest, it hasn't gone the way we wanted it to go, but let's finish the home campaign in front of our own fans on a high. Port Vale are the team in town, and like us, they haven't got much to play for either. We'll be seeing them again next season, so hopefully we can get one over them before this campaign concludes. As is a Saturday, we are only permitted to live stream today's match outside of the UK and Ireland, as per EFL broadcasting rules. If you are overseas, though, remember that if you're watching on the Charlton app, you can cast today's game onto your smart TV from your mobile or tablet. A packed pre-game show to bring you before kick-off. Here's a little taster of what's to come. We'll hear exclusively from manager Dean Holden, who I spoke to a little earlier this afternoon. Today is our annual Charlton Upbeats Day, and I'm delighted to say that our CACT ambassador Dave Berry will be stopping by in the studio before kick-off. And it wouldn't be the Upbeats Day without hearing from some of the side. 6 of them were at the training ground last week, so we'll find out how they got on. Well, it's been a while since I've been here in this chair, but delighted to say I've got the dream team alongside me, Brownie and Curbs. And look, I would ask you two if you miss me, but we had that 2-day CAC trip, didn't we? Monday and Tuesday, the golfing trip.
Yeah. Very good. Belfry.
Yeah, not bad. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, because you won.
I did win.
I was waiting to see if he would bring that up.
No, I'm not like that. I'm not like that. I don't.
Curbs, is that a trophy down there?
I don't blow my own trumpet. Got the job done.
Actually, you gave the prize money back.
Gave the prize money to the Upbeats walk today.
That's only because I won it last year and I gave the prize money back. So
it's my turn next year.
He felt the pressure to do that.
What about Wardy and his team when I gave the donation? They did not want to donate, did they, Wardy?
Well, Wardy didn't the first day, did he? He
forced him into donating. Really, he was gutted. He was gutted. Yeah.
Anyway, good to see you, chaps. Glad to be back, I have to say. And this week we celebrated the 76th anniversary of our FA Cup win. You an unused sub, weren't you?
Well, I didn't get on again.
He kept warming up in front of the bench, but it made no difference.
He was on a massive appearance fee.
Star jumps again. Come on, boss, I'm ready. Put me in.
on a massive appearance fee, but Curbs didn't realise that.
The only way you're going on, son, is if you're in goal.
We're 4 up, Curbs. Come on, give me a minute. Nah, you're all right. Sit there. The team's done a good job.
He did that to me once, Svensson. He kept saying, put me on, put me on.
Yeah.
But I didn't realise, because I had nothing to do with contracts, that if he'd have got on for another game, he'd have got a bonus.
I feel his pain.
There's a few of them.
Oh, there was a lot of us.
Got a little thing against you, Curbs, but you didn't know at all.
didn't know.
Is that what you're saying?
No.
Okay.
You believe in that? I'm not buying that. He knew.
I didn't know.
We'll get him on the lie detector.
Get him on
test
there. Get Svensson on.
Look, since I've been gone, it's been loss, win, loss, win, loss. I think it's fair to say it's been very inconsistent. How would you two sum up the month of April?
Month of April, exactly that. You know, in terms of results.
Although I was there for the Shrewsbury game April 1st.
Which was the one I
6-0.
missed. Yeah, which was the one I missed. I've just saying over the other side, missed the 5-1 at home, missed the 6-0. So I've not seen the 2 really good highlights of this year. Yeah, April's been pretty much synonymous with the season, isn't it? You know, it's turned out bang average. But at the end of the day, you know, there's every time we get a positive, there seems to be a setback, and that's kind of how it's gone. But yeah.
So what we're saying is that when we play really well or get good wins, you're not around.
Not around. Not around. Yeah.
I'd say it's been a little bit disappointing because of the run we had leading up to April. You're thinking, oh, you know, let's finish as strong as we can. There was a lot of talk about bringing some young players in. Let's see some of the young players, but that's happened anyway. The young players have come in, but the results have been inconsistent. Probably sums the whole season up, really. But in saying that, as Brownie just said, we was talking over there earlier, we've got to remember where we were when Dean took over. You know, we was in a bit of bother, looking over our shoulders at the relegation thing. Had a great run, got ourselves out of it and clear of it, just couldn't carry that on.
Will you have learnt a thing or two about the players, though? And who will want for next season?
You like to think so. I think we're all just in, I don't know what to say, you know, we're all waiting to see what's going to happen above us. In terms of the ownership, is there going to be a takeover? Is Thomas going to still be in charge? And what is going to happen in the summer in terms of recruitment? Because Dean would have been sitting there thinking, I need 3 or 4, or I need even more than that. What can I do? But at the moment, it's all up in the air.
Yeah, recruitment is going to be key, isn't it?
Yeah, I think with all due respect, recruitment is where we're at. If you look at the January recruitment or last summer's recruitment, nothing's really got the juices flowing. And actually the January one, when I thought Dean was going down the more experienced route, and they've not really done what we thought they were going to do. You know, they've barely played. Actually, I've gone through all the sort of appearances this year and the statistics of players that have played and who hasn't, and it's probably why we are where we are. So many injuries have fractured the season in terms of who he can pick, who actually Ben Garner could pick, you know, and our more exciting players in terms of Blackett, Taylor, not been available enough. Chuck Zanike not been available enough. Stockley was available, 2 goals in 20. And you know, Rex Saki's been the one shining light with Miles, but even Miles only started 15, Scotty. Yeah. But recruitment's been a struggle.
But you've got to remember,
we've got to
remember, we've got a few coming back, haven't we? Who are out on loan. And they're coming back as well.
Yeah.
So,
to be honest, if you lead with a question like that, right? we needed like a couple of hours. Like we could have a podcast for about 4 hours.
We had 2 days with him, right? I've just had another half hour over there, you know.
Yeah, and he couldn't drink there either, could he?
He enjoyed himself.
He didn't like port until we started talking about it.
You was a bit worried about me on the second day when you thought I was going to turn up for the tea time. No. It's all good.
He likes port though. That's the main thing.
Port was nice. I don't know what that. It was nice.
Don't tell Mandy.
No, we keep everything secret.
Don't worry, she doesn't watch this. So
she watches it.
It's why she doesn't like me. It's why she doesn't like me.
She watches it up to 3 o'clock.
She's got better things to do, I'm sure she has. Look, it is great to be back. Less than 45 minutes, in fact, probably about 15 minutes now until kick-off.
9 behind.
Let's hear from Dean, who I spoke to a little bit earlier. Dean, good to see you. I think it's fair to say it's been a very up and down month, but how important is it with today being our last home game that we sign off with a win?
Yeah, it's been an up and down season, hasn't it? You're right, but it's been up and down month. I think it's really important because speaking to supporters around the place, certainly the last couple of days, there's a huge emphasis on finishing the season as strongly as we can, sending our supporters home with a smile on the face, which we've not done enough of this season. I can only speak for obviously the time I've been in the club. I think we started with that fantastic coming together of the Charlton family up at Old Trafford. It was a great night. We generated a lot of connection that night and a lot of support, and then we sort of bookended that with some really positive results which have ultimately kept us in this division, which was important. And there's been some pain as well. Been some pain along the way, as you can probably see on me if you compare my face now to what it was 4 months ago. So
no grey hairs there?
No, not yet. A few ginger ones still, and still dying out, Scott. But it's really important, and the players are well aware of that. They're well aware of that. It's there's still contracts to be played for. There's all kinds of things, and ultimately they're playing with a Charlton badge on the shirt and pride. And you know, as a professional, irrespective of anything, you play it like it's your last ever game because you never know what's around the corner. So that's the mentality today.
What's the team today, and what's your thinking if you have made any changes?
Just a couple of changes. So Tyrese Campbell comes in for Jack Payne. I think I've said it before, I think that pace down that wide area this season has been a real bonus for us. TC's back fit again and comes in from the start, and Scotty Fraser comes back into midfield for Aaron Henry.
You touched on it there about you wearing the Charlton badge, and even there's nothing on it, you need to go 100%. But what have you said to the lads in the team?
We've got to produce our best performance individually and do that for as long as we can in the game. We're an inconsistent team because we've had inconsistent individual performances. That's normally how it marries together, doesn't it? So it's about staying in the moment when you're in a good place and taking care of the next pass, taking care of the next moment. And if it's not going so well and we're having a bit of a wobbly period, then sticking together, good body language, getting together as a group, and just taking care of the next one. And if you've had a couple of dodgy passes or whatever it is, or whatever's happened, then just regroup. Always about what you do next. You can't really affect, sometimes you go in your own head a little bit and there's a bit of murmurings around the ground, and deal with what's next. I always felt myself, you get that first pass off, get that first tackle in. We've got to be competitive, more competitive than we were last week.
Absolutely. And finally as well, you and I took a little bit of a different route to the Valley today.
I saw you on stage before. Did you do it as well?
Well, I was there at the beginning, I was there in the middle, I was there in the end. It's just I was in the car in between. How was that for you, and how special is it a day? And they're just a great bunch of lads.
Oh, amazing, isn't it? And you see all the families and siblings and all the mates turn up, and brilliant, the smiles on faces. They'll be out on the pitch, won't they, pretty soon. The weather's done us a right treat as well, which I think helped. I was around Greenwich last week for the London Marathon. My best mate come down who's done it, the marathon, and he was telling me about the atmosphere, and you can kind of, and I'm not comparing the Upbeats walk this morning in terms of numbers, but there's just a real buzz, isn't there?
They feel like it, don't they? It's an amazing feel.
There's a real buzz about, and everybody's happy to be there, wants to support. So I did about 30-40 minutes. So I'll be lying if I said I did the whole walk. Obviously I needed to get back in. Every match day for me always starts with, wherever I am in the country, always starts with a nice relaxing walk first thing in the morning, clear my head. So that was, what better way to do that. Hopefully we've raised, someone said we've raised 21 grand by this morning, so hopefully by the end of today a little bit more, which is an incredible amount, I have to say. And I said it before, this club off the pitch is world class in terms of community trust. We need to now get it on the pitch as well.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's been absolutely fantastic. A great morning, I have to say, even though I didn't do the full walk, just the driving, but great to be a part of it. Two changes then from the Morecambe defeat last week. Scott Fraser and Tyrese Campbell come in for Henry and Payne. Look, we lost 3 of the last 5 since going 5 unbeaten. And it has been an underwhelming season, to say the least, Curb. So when you're involved in a season like this, how do you approach the last couple of games?
Well, I think that you want to obviously win your last game at home to send the fans home as happy as possible. I think we've been saying that all along we need a strong finish for every reason. Season tickets, giving the fans something to look forward to next season, etc., etc. And I think after last week's performance, the fans deserve something today. They deserve, as Dean said in his interview there, they deserve us to turn up and put a performance in. And let's hope we can do it.
What do you think about the changes?
Quite honestly, I was expecting more than 2, but I don't think there's that strength in depth at the moment. It kind of tells you what you need to know about Dean's thought processes when, we've been beat 6, we've been beat home 3-2, and the side by and large isn't changing that much. So, it's one of those things where I don't think anybody could have had too many complaints if they came out, if I'm honest. Even Jez was really poor first 45. I know he got the goal, man, the match it by the end, but it wasn't a particularly inspiring performance, and so if you got left out today, you've got no arguments really. But what I would say is there has to be, for me personally, there has to be a personal pride in that 11 there to want to bounce back from what was a real disappointment.
The two players for me last week looked a little bit leggy. Was Dobbo, obviously, the work he's put in all season, and Masaki, he looked a little bit tired as well, and it's his first full season. But them two really have been the mainstays of this season for me. I'd put the keeper in that as well.
Even Miles looked tired last week.
Miles looked tired.
Struggled last week.
You know, he's had his injuries, and you know that's difficult when you have a couple of injuries during the season. You can never really get up to speed. So a couple of them, I think, will still have to convince Dean that they should be around next year.
Yeah. Okay, let's take a look at the league table now, shall we? And despite last weekend's defeat in a round of midweek fixtures that we weren't involved in, we do remain in 11th position, 1 point behind Lincoln, who were beaten 1-0 at home by Burton on Tuesday. Catching them still has to be our target. Derby back up to 6th after beating Burton last Saturday, whilst Peterborough were beaten 3-0 at home by Ipswich. Ipswich also thrashed Barnsley 3-0 at Oakwell, and that happened on Tuesday night. And now I was shown a table midweek that had them top of the current form in all the European leagues. Barcelona were second, Napoli were third. Plymouth still lead the way after picking up home victories against Cambridge and Bristol Rovers in the last 7 days. The top two could both win promotion today. Bolton in 5th slipped up on Tuesday night, losing at home to Accrington, and that keeps Accrington's survival hopes alive. Bolton may need to win the last 2 as well. Look, chaps, 2 games to go for more or less everyone now. Who has the most pressure going into these final couple of games, and how well have Plymouth and Ipswich done?
Well, them too, I think. They know they're so near, so close, and they're both been having fantastic results. Can they get over the line? Can they get over the line today?
What about for the playoffs, Brandon?
Yeah, that's the pressure for me. That bottom end, you know, Bolton. That's a big loss to Accrington, because you get that done, you're on 78 points. You've pretty much sealed it, and they haven't. So they're not quite over the line. I think I read somewhere they're going to have almost a sellout today, Bolton. You know, that's
I don't expect it, but if one of them top 2 slip up, then they won't fancy the playoffs.
No.
You know, if they obviously Sheffield have got to win their 2 games, and one of them's got to obviously slip up. But I wouldn't fancy them in the playoffs.
Well, you could say that about Sheffield Wednesday right now, because they are most likely.
It's extraordinary. You've still got 3 teams after 44 and over 2 points a game, and that's if you look at League 2, I think only the leaders are 2 points a game. You know, and that's how extraordinary that situation is. And Barnsley aren't far off having 2 points a game. So it's a really competitive league in the top 4. I think the top 2 are up. It's how Sheffield Wednesday deal with losing out, because they were flying. They should have won the league, and they had that horrible blip. It's how they respond if they end up in the playoffs.
Absolutely. Just touching on us as well, it doesn't seem right to ask the question, should we be aiming for 10th? But it's all we can do, isn't it?
That's all we can do, yeah.
Well, I think that, look, if you look at last year's season, we finished 13 on 59 points. So, I mean, it's not much, but let's finish above that. It's not much, but let's clutch at straws and say that's got to be better.
Yeah. Let's go to our fixture list, shall we? It is a full fixture list in the Sky Bet League One, and as I said, Plymouth and Ipswich will both be promoted today if they can win their respective matches. Plymouth host Burton, Ipswich welcome Exeter. At Cheltenham, who we travel to on the final day of the season, go to Wickham this afternoon. 2 huge games at the bottom of the table as Accrington host Cambridge, while already relegated Forest Green take on Oxford, and Oxford earned a big 4-0 win on Tuesday to pull themselves a little bit away from danger. In the race for the playoffs, Bolton, Derby and Peterborough all at home. They face Fleetwood, Portsmouth and Bristol Rovers respectively. I mean, it's just incredible, isn't it? In terms of we've touched on the top 2. We think it's going to end up top 2. We've touched on the playoffs as well. How horrible is it to be involved at the bottom?
Oh, yeah. I know.
That's the worst pressure, isn't it?
Of course it is, because it don't just affect the manager or the players or the fans, it affects all the staff. You know, if a club gets relegated, there's cutbacks, no matter what league you're in, and it means that staff will have to leave, etc. Not just the football staff, but staff around the stadium, the training ground. Yeah, it's a big blow, and that's a real pressure. And I think when you're playing in them games, you're just, and you do get your nose in it, just wishing your life away. You just want it to end as soon as possible. And other results are coming in, and they're perhaps not true. You know, you're hearing all these rumours. So it's a tough afternoon for a few.
What was it like for you, Brownie?
Relegation?
Well, sort of being around there.
We only had the one, actually, and that was from the Premier League, and we dug it into the last game, and I will say this about that relegation year: the expectation levels were not on us. We didn't spend a lot of money. We got up through the playoffs, and no one really gave us or put us under pressure that we should have stayed up. And we scraped it to the last game and went down. But what came out of that was my favourite year in football. That relegation gave us that. You didn't have to get rid of anybody. You added, you strengthened, and we weren't to know this, but the following year was by far and away my favourite year in football. And sometimes, you know, when you bounce back, it's better than actually, because we weren't expected to stay up. We were, you know, we were above our station at that point, I think.
Yeah, I think we needed a result to go for us. It wasn't the last game of the season. We won at Villa 4-3 with Brownie winning goal, and we needed Wimbledon to beat Southampton.
That's right.
And if they had done, we needed a result here and would have stayed up, but they didn't, and they've done us.
And we were 4-0 up, or Charlton were 4-0 up before you went in goal. And went to 4-3. No, I'm only joking, Brady. I'm only joking. OK, right, as always, let's take a little bit of a break from today and get to club news updates, starting with ticketing news. And all club season tickets are now available to purchase for the 23-24 campaign. Men's team season tickets, Valley Express season tickets, seasonal hospitality and women's team season tickets all on sale. You can find out more information by heading to cafc.co.uk. Please remember that the Phase 1 price deadline for men's team season tickets is midnight on the 12th of May. So make sure you buy it before then to secure the cheapest possible price. Tomorrow afternoon, the Charlton women's team will conclude their Barclays Women's Championship season here at the Valley when they host local rivals Crystal Palace. The Addicts are already assured of a top 4 finish, and it'll be great to see them end their campaign on a high. They've won 3 from 3 at the Valley so far this campaign and haven't conceded a goal in those games either. Tickets for that match are priced at £10 for adults, £5 for concessions, and you can get yours by going to booking.cafc.co.uk. Now, Charlton's under-21s overcame Birmingham at the Valley on Monday afternoon, earning a comfortable 4-2 victory. Saeed Kamara opened the scoring before Patrick Casey concluded this slick team move to double the advantage before the break. Kamara claimed his second of the game a couple of minutes into the second half and then laid on the Addicts' 4th goal for substitute Tolu Ladapo. And Birmingham pulled 2 goals back late on, but the result was already tied up, and that's a fantastic experience to be playing here at the Valley. Well, 48 hours on from Monday, the under-21s were back in action and they again earned a 4-2 victory. This time they beat Hendon in the semi-finals of the London Senior Cup. Dylan Gavin opened and closed the scoring during the game, with Saeed Kamara and Henry Ryler also finding the net for the Addicts. The final of the London Senior Cup is set to take place on Tuesday and will come up against Haringey Borough. For full details on the match, it can be read on cafc.co.uk. Well, the club confirmed its second first-team pre-season friendly of the summer earlier this week. Delighted to say that we'll be heading to Princes Park to take on Dartford on Saturday, July the 8th. The game will kick off at 3 p.m. It will come a week after our first pre-season clash of the summer, which will be contested at Welling United on July the 1st. And ticketing and live streaming information for both matches will be communicated in due course. And finally, we were delighted to see youngster Zach Mitchell be named as League One's Apprentice of the Year at the annual EFL Awards on Sunday. Zach became the second Charlton player in as many years to have won the award, joining Deji Elaweri, who won it 12 months ago. A huge well done to Zach and his family. And here's how the club marked his award win at training earlier this week.
Well, I think Zach is a model scholar and a scholar who his peers should look up to, and I'm sure they do, because they recognise his qualities as a person. He's a very well-rounded individual, very humble, clearly got talent, which is proven in terms of his progress this season, but never gets carried away with that, for sure.
Zach's been a model student throughout his scholarship. I knew what academic ability he had, because he went to a very good school and got very good grades, but he's exceeded that.
We keep coming up with those impressive stats. You know, we've nominated more than 4. You know, Jordan Cousins, Adamola Luckman, Zach, and last year, of course, Deji have won this award. I remember we nominated Joe Gomez going back a few years now. Unfortunately, he didn't get it on the night. You know, but we'll always put, if we think we've got a strong candidate with a combined football education record, we'll put them forward.
When you think about sort of the past winners of that award as well, I think you can only aspire to follow that same, you know, trajectory, and you know, I think it's a step in the right direction, but more than anything, just really thankful for everyone that's helped me along my journey. You know, I think this award's sort of an amalgamation of both the education side of things and on the pitch as well, so really thankful to the likes of, you know, Steve, Joe Francis as well, the head of education, you know, the gaffer for recent opportunities, and then obviously everyone in my family and all of my peers here at Charlton.
We're very proud of our foundation phase statistics of players that do come through, you know, from as young as 9 and 10 all the way through to the first team, and we've got some good examples of that this season with people like Aaron Henry, Richard Chin. You know, Miles Leeburn's been in the system a long time as well. So yeah, we're a great believer in it.
I'm really grateful for everyone who contributes to Valley Gold. You know, I've had a lot of benefit from what they do at the club, you know, whether that's with mini goals, coats, and then obviously I've had the privilege of even going on some amazing tours, you know, like Argentina, under 14s, Northern Ireland tour, that have many others as well, yeah, so they do a lot within the club, and really thankful for everything they do.
Yeah, massive congratulations to Zach and the family, of course. You can see he's a really good lad, as well as clearly a very good player as well. Should be very proud of winning that award as well, shouldn't he, Curbs?
Absolutely, and I think that when I've seen him, when he's come on in the first team, and he looks a real prospect.
Football, of course, never stands still. I mean, so there's obviously a balance between the academic side and the football side as well. How should he try and use this award to get towards the first team?
Well, I think he's already been in and around it, and he's actually played really well. I thought he was the only one that came out with any credit at Stockport, which is one of many of our poorer days this season. But yeah, and he's from a good footballing family. His brother's, you know, settled, and I think he's sailed past 100 league games for Millwall in the Championship. So he's come from a good pedigree, and he's settled in quite nicely in terms of the performances we've seen at such a young age. As we well know, that's just the start of it. Once you get in, it's a different kettle of fish. There's a pressure then, like we've seen with Lucas Ness, to maintain. But yeah, I can see him breaking in over the next year or two, for sure.
I wonder if there's a bit of sibling rivalry.
It's always
in some way.
Well,
that's always good.
We're one down at the moment.
Yeah. Behind
it's how we finish, not how we start. Okay, moving on now, and today we're celebrating the success of a much-loved Down syndrome team, the Charlton Upbeats. I have to say, hundreds of supporters have walked from the training ground to the Valley for the annual charity walk, and one of them is Zach Thompson, the father of Upbeats team member Ethan, and they spoke to Charlotte Richardson shortly after arriving here at the Valley a little earlier.
Thank you, Scott, and a very warm welcome to Charlton TV. Zach, you have just completed the Upbeats, what we both had on such a glorious day. Firstly, how are your legs feeling?
Oh, I'm in serious pain, but you know what, it's all for a good cause, so I'm happy to do it. And I've done it every year as well since the beginning, so it's a really good thing to do. It's for a great cause, and happy to be here.
And your son Ethan is a part of the Upbeats programme. Just tell us how much value it adds to his social life and how much he loves being a part of what they call the Upbeats family.
Yeah, oh, it's been excellent for him. It's great for his confidence, and he's formed real friendships, you know, in the Upbeats as well. And the coaches are great, and it's a life experience for him, and it's just great for him going through life and watching his confidence and watching him grow as a person as well.
It's so special seeing them all together. They've got such an energy, such a connection. But for you and the parents as well, it must be incredibly special to have this programme where your children can go and grow in confidence and be in a really safe, lovely space.
Exactly, and you said it there, Charlotte. You know, it's a very safe space, and the coaches are wonderful. I mean, don't get me wrong, they do work the children hard and the adults hard, but you know what, they have fun at the same time, and it's great for them to get together and see their peers and people that they spend time with on a weekly basis and do exercise with on a weekly basis. It's great all round.
Well, as you alluded to, the exercise and being physically active is incredibly important as well, but there is so much more to the Upbeats programme than that, isn't there? Just bring supporters up to speed with exactly what your son and others in the programme get to enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just about the football, the training. I mean, there's mental health that they look after in certain areas. It's mixed disabilities as well. It's physical disabilities as well as mental disabilities that the coaches get involved with, and they show that they really care. And it's such an important thing to do for both the children and adults that have physical or learning disabilities. It's just wonderful for them.
And we're fundraising today with hundreds of other addicts to keep the programme going, to find the funding, to make sure that it continues to grow from year to year. That feeling when you cross the line, I think that Ethan as well fought to find you and give you a big hug, which must have been lovely.
It's wonderful. Although his hugs can be quite firm, so, you know, and after a 9-mile walk, you know, I feel a bit tender. So. But no, it's great. It's good to see a smile on his face as well.
There have been so many smiles as everyone kind of is walking and crossing the line right now, and it's a beautiful day for itself. The final word, what would you like to say that to those that have taken part in the walk, and perhaps those that have fundraised and supported the cause as well?
You know what, I'd like to say a heartfelt thank you, a massive thank you. It means so much, not just to the children and young adults with learning disabilities, but also for the coaches and for the programme itself, to bring other people through to the programme who don't know anything about it and may see this and want to get involved. It's just massive. It really is. And it's self-funded as well. We don't get any support from anywhere else.
So every pound donated and fundraised today is incredibly important. It's much appreciated. So please, if you can, support the Upbeats. Zach and I are off to have a burger and put our feet up, I think. Back to you, Scott.
Thank you.
Oh, a burger, that sounds nice, doesn't it? Look, great to hear from Zach there and get a real understanding of what the Upbeats programme is about. And remember, the Charlton Upbeats programme is completely funded by donations, and you can offer them financial support by heading to cact.gives, so cact.gives. Now, you may have noticed that the sub-sport has come up.
Not for the first time.
It's a roll-on, roll-off today. Brownie's temporarily out. He's behind the cameras. He's not overly happy, but we are. We're absolutely delighted to be joined by Absolute Radio breakfast show host, big Charlton fan and CACT ambassador, Dave Berry. Dave, welcome to Charlton TV.
Well,
can you
thanks,
stay
Scott.
for the rest of the day now, please?
I'd like to. I can't believe I got nobbled before I'd even sat down. I can't believe I'm being subbed for a disc jockey, was what Brownie said as I sat down.
I don't know if the mics can pick up Brownie. Have you got to come back to that at all, Brownie?
That's what I said.
That's why,
I've been subbed off for a footballer, and that's acceptable. But for a disc jockey...
So anyway,
DJ.
Did we pick that up, yeah?
Disc jockey!
Look, low block, high block, road block. It's all changed, Brownie.
You've got to live with the times, Dave. We might need you out there a little bit later on. Look, I mean, how does it feel sitting in the kind of the pundit's chair rather than the presenter's chair? You know, because normally, obviously, you do all the presenting, don't you?
I'd rather be asking the questions.
Would you?
I like the safety of the desk. I like the cue cards. Basically, I'm a bit of a control freak. That's what it is. People who like doing this are control freaks.
Do you know what? You're absolutely right. When I'm a pundit, I'm so chilled out and relaxed. And when I'm a presenter, you want to make sure that everything is absolutely spot on, don't you? So I know all the production staff are not saying anything, but they're like, yes, you know. But look, you're a Charlton fan. Tell us a story about how you became a Charlton fan and also how you became an ambassador of CACT as well.
Well, I'm a Charlton fan based for geographical reasons, really. I lived about 5 minutes over there. My mum and dad still live there. So that kind of was the first foray into supporting Charlton. And then the kind of passion and the love really came courtesy in a big way to Curbs here and going to the 98 playoff final and watching that spectacular game of football at Wembley, and a kind of lifelong love affair started from there.
Well, you talked about the 98 at Wembley. Did you go to both playoff finals?
Yeah, both playoff finals.
What would you say was your favourite game? Or is it just too difficult to say? I mean, not just necessarily of those two. It might be another game. It could be anything.
It would be from the two of those. Those two games were really special for all Charlton fans. And I mean, even coming around here and walking around the valley and seeing the pictures, you know, and the players and Mendonca's celebration, and it's just everywhere. And to know that I was kind of there that day is extra special. And with the 2019 playoff final, one of the nice things about that was by that point, I'd been working with the club, you know, through the trust for some time, so I knew a lot of the people involved. That was the different thing. In '98, I was a fan who went along and saw a great spectacle. Thanks again, Curbs. But then in 2019, I was sat with Johnny Jackson's family, and I was kind of taking pictures of them while everything was going on and they were celebrating. So it felt much more like being part of the Charlton family for that one. So both really special, but for slightly different reasons.
I remember the 2019 one. I was actually working at Sky and we're doing the Championship player final, but I said, can I have a ticket? And I went there as a fan, you know, with the Sky lot the day before, so it was absolutely brilliant. What's it like sitting next to Curbs? Have you ever interviewed him? But I do hear you got a little story about him, is that right or not?
Well, no, the first, I've never interviewed Curbs. I've met him before, but the first time I met you, you nicked one of my chips.
All right. That sounds like... Do you know what he does now? He actually... So he goes to the Charlton TV lounge. They do the Q&A with Charlotte and Brownie as well. And to be fair to Curbs, one time he said, oh, the pies over there are absolutely lovely. I went... And like week after week, it was like, the pies are amazing. Ed, I'm here doing rehearsals. Do you mind just bringing me some? So he now brings them over. He bought about 4 or 5 that we still haven't time to eat.
Amazing. Like I was in a kind of bar restaurant. This was some years ago, and I was with Andy Goldstein, who I think you know does fine work on Talk Sport. And we were sat just having lunch, and Curbs and his friend came over because they knew Andy. And while they were chatting, Curbs just leant down. And it was like a nice establishment, you know, so the chips are in like a little shopping trolley. He just took one out and ate and left. And I was like, open-mouthed, wide-eyed as he walked away.
On the lash.
Yeah. It had an element of the all-day session about it. I was not going to lie.
Had a few ports.
But then, you know, Andy Goldstein was like, "Oh, you're a Charlton fan, aren't you? That must be amazing." And I just looked off into the distance. I thought, Curbs just nicked one of my chips.
Yeah.
Greatest day of my life so far.
Out of all the fantastic moments in your career, that might be the name of the book. Curbs once nicked my chip. Look, of all the people you have sort of interviewed as well, and you've interviewed many, who's had the most sort of interest in football? And they've been any Charlton fans as well, or?
Not any Charlton fans, but I did have there's a rapper from the US called Bubba Sparks. And he came on my show on MTV back in about 2004. And because he's from like the South and I'm from South East London, the producers there had worked their magic and thought it'd be a nice little thing if I gave him a Charlton shirt. And it was the All Sports yellow one, the collarless one. Lovely shirt. And I gave it to him just as a little throwaway thing. And he wore it on stage that night. And there was a load of press about why is Bubba Sparks, who works with Timberland and Missy Elliott, wearing a Charlton shirt, and he wore it on his European tour.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so thanks, Bubba, if you're watching.
Sales went up.
Absolutely. Look, we understand you attended a game a few weeks ago with your daughter.
I did,
is that
yes.
Right?
Yeah, there we
How
are.
was that?
Evie's first football game, Charlton Bolton. So you know, it was great. I don't want to kind of push football onto her.
But you will.
But I have. And I will happily continue to do so.
I bet she's got a shirt.
She's got a shirt, yeah.
Does she have a choice?
With the crest on the...
You know, like any sort of good parent, you say, look, it's not about what I want, it's what you want, and we'll support you in that. But when it comes to football team, you're supporting Charlton. Is it one of those?
Well, the thing is, Scotty, is that my wife and her family are all Manchester United fans. They have season ticket holders, and they have been for years. And I could just feel the net closing in. You know, when you talked about who's the red team, she was saying Manchester United, and I thought, I'm going to have to grab the bull by the horns here. So Bolton it was. Bolton at home, and it was great. And the Trust got us tickets, and Jason Morgan, who's a wonderful man, his daughter Freya, she looked after Evie. So I had the double whammy of live football, free childcare. Perfect.
Brilliant. You're only saying that because Jason's alongside Brownie there right now. And you obviously didn't get the memo, Jason Morgan, MBE.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I've seen that on your Twitter.
No, not really. I only
He's
joking,
the only
Jason.
one who's got an MBE in our village.
You're almost neighbours, you two. Look, final one as well, because we are talking about the Upbeats Day, and you are a proud ambassador for CACT as well. They are just a fantastic bunch of people, aren't they? Just great personalities, and it was brilliant watching them out there. I don't know if you got time to do that.
Yes, no, I watched them. I was involved doing interviews and speaking to them, and they are a fantastic bunch of people. And as you so brilliantly highlighted at the beginning, Scotty, it's about people donating for this. It's purely funded by people's donations, and this time round for the Upbeats Walk we've had a kind of record amount of donations, and obviously everybody knows times are tough, so the fact that people are digging deep for this is giving opportunities to the Upbeats that they wouldn't otherwise be afforded, and speaking not only with them but also with their friends and their family, and just how excited it is and how wide-eyed they are about the fact that they're playing an Everton team who have travelled down, that they went to Belfast recently, that Dean Holden, who, just for the record, has been absolutely fantastic as far as the trust goes, and it was really nice to meet him at last. What an impressive person he is, and the way he has encouraged, not that they would be reluctant to do so, but he's encouraged the players to get involved, and I know that the Upbeats were at Sparrows Lane last week, and it was great to see how those two things are coming together, and of course that just gives a lift to the wider community, so it's fantastic, and thank you to everyone who donated.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think you've pretty much summed up my sort of last question. I mean, what sort of message would you say about the QR code is there for the donations?
Yes, scan the QR code and keep the donations coming, because, as I say, it is funded purely through your donations, and you really are making a lot of lovely people very happy. So please do continue to give if you can.
He's so much better than Brownie, isn't he?
Not even close.
What? This jockey?
Not even close.
The only trouble is the sub's going to be subbed off.
Listen, we better move on.
That's happened before.
He's going to stay here. Sticking with the Charlton Upbeats, 6 members of the team were at the training ground, as Dave was just saying. Here's how they got on.
I think everyone knows, the affinity that we've got with the Upbeats, and what's it, 14, 15 years now of supporting the guys, and I think, my staff have said it, it's more than a football programme. This is wider than that. This is involving the parents and, respite care and social skills, and this is a big part of it. They do their sessions on a Saturday morning, but to bring them here, I mean, they're proud to play for the Upbeats and the association with Charlton.
Absolutely, really love it, really, because I haven't been in this area before, but Dean Holden, he's a really great guy to be with, because he's the best manager and just the best man.
They were in first thing this morning. They were in the canteen serving players and staff cups of tea and coffee and helping out the physios, and then they were on the grass watching training session, helping out getting the balls back in and working as ball boys and just generally mixing with the guys. And then I think the bit they enjoyed the most was coming up to my press conference and giving me one or two really tough questions, I have to say. So it was, I think they've all round they've had a good day. They finished it off. They came down to my office. They play, don't they, before our Port Vale game, they play Everton on the pitch. So after the Upbeats Walk next Saturday, so I took them in the office and we watched some of our clips from the MK Dons game the other night, some of our chances that we made, and obviously Jack Payne's goal, and we talked a little bit around that. So I think they had an all-rounded, brilliant day.
I think everyone here loved every single minute to come together, help with the first team, and I think they all might have enjoyed it.
This is part of the development. Everything we do here and everything the community trust is about is pushing programs. It's not just doing straightforward projects. It's how far can we take it, and how far can we sort of give young people, old people, people that we work with that got some challenges, greater opportunity, and this is an example of it today.
I'm really excited because I really wanted to be here, because I love everything what I've been doing. I just love doing all the events and that kind of stuff like that, so I just had a really great time, really.
The place I liked picking to was Ryan Innes, who I met in the medical room. I done a massage on his leg. Jack Payne, also he wears my mum's shirt, 19 shirt, which is the kit I'm wearing for. So I'm a bit like him, so yeah.
Connection with our supporters and the foundation and the community trust and everything around this area is huge. We're in a really privileged position that we can open up the doors at certain times and allow people to come in, see how we work, get them involved. Great for the guys on the inside, the players, the staff, to see how much it means to them, and it shows you when we're doing well on the pitch, how that can affect everybody else on the outside in terms of our support base. So yeah, it was great to have them in again, it really is, and we'll see them again obviously next week before they play their game. As some of us going on the walk, I think we're leaving here, training around 8:30 I think Saturday morning, so we'll be up early for that. And there's a good day planned all round. And anybody who wants to come and join us on the walk, I'm giving you a plug now. You've not even asked me, have you? Anyone that wants to come or donate along the way, come and get involved. This is such a brilliant cause.
Yeah, great to see the Upbeats getting so involved there. Absolutely fantastic. It's been a great day today as well with the walk. So really pleased. A lot of money has been raised, and please keep on raising as much money as you possibly can. OK, the subs board has gone back up again. Not sure if I'm pleased to say Brownie is back. Brownie, I mean, in terms of Port Vale, Andy Crosby in caretaker charge after sacking Darryl Clark, and he actually been doing pretty well. Won against Bristol Rovers last week, only lost to Ipswich to a late penalty. It's one of those that are safe now. They've got the shackles off today, haven't they? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, safety was paramount, and they were on a horrible slide, actually. I think it was only something like 3 wins in 25 games, something really poor. So I can understand why they made the change, just to get that reaction, to get that 3 points that's keeping them safe. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Come here, enjoy the day. You know, they've secured League One safety for next season, which I think would have been the job. So job done. Can they build on this season? But Curbs, it's all about us today, isn't it?
Of course it is. And I think that, I saw Keith Peacock earlier, and one of his sayings at the moment is, I hope we don't make this team look good today.
He said that a few times.
He said it a few times, and it's got all the ingredients for someone to turn up, enjoy themselves. They're safe and they're playing in a nice stadium. We need to impose ourselves. First minute, don't let them settle.
It's not a full house, is it? I think that's a sign of the last game of the season, home game of the season, where
that's holidays as well, isn't it? Bank holiday.
It's your holidays.
It's bank holiday now, isn't it? Coming up.
It is Monday, yeah.
Yeah, so people got a long weekend.
So, I mean, what are we thinking about? 2 changes from Dean. He could have made a lot more if he'd have wanted to. 2 games to go, Brownie. People playing for their Charlton futures? I think some are. Yeah, I think we've got no choice with others. That's like Curb said, we've got players coming back. They've still got deals to run. So there's a lot of manoeuvring to be done over this summer. We seem to be saying that every year, and I've highlighted before, that you don't want to be doing too much business in summers. And it kind of highlights where we are as a football club, that we have to keep doing rebuilds. And I think there's another rebuild here. But I certainly agree with you that there's 1 or 2 here that he's definitely undecided on. Do you think? Yeah, I do. And I'm not even sure over the next 2 games. I think he'll still be undecided. It'll be what's available over the summer, whether he keeps them or not. Yeah. OK, last home game of the season here at the Valley. The sun is shining. It's been a beautiful day. The Upbeats morning so far was great. Let's see if we can carry it on today and finish our home campaign at the Valley with all 3 points. Curbs, just one to you as well. I mean, do you think it's been decided in terms of all players? Do you think that the players will be thinking, right, if I play well in the next 2 games, then actually we can?
I think he's made his mind up, Dean, on who he wants to keep, on the positions he wants to bring in. I just think he really, really wants to finish with a win.